This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by Don Charles over Zoom. Don, we've just had a brief chat off camera. It's been a lot longer than what we thought it had been. So how have you been keeping?
Yeah, I've been keeping well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm all good, thank you. I'm all good. It's good to catch up. What's been going on? What's been going on in the life of Don Charles?
Well, you just reminded me, like you said, from our brief chat off camera, that how long it's been. Time sure does fly. It feels like it was like, let's say 3 months ago that I last met with you, but it's 6 months ago. So that's time just has flown, you know.
Certainly has done, Don. It's kind of straight into the boxing talk. Start off with obviously your current stable. What have you got going on at the minute, Don?
I've got a few, all the fighters I'm working with at the moment are kind of up and coming. And I have 2 heavyweights, my son being one of them, George Fox. He's about to, I believe he'll be fighting in July next month. I've got another heavyweight whom I'm hoping to get out before September. I've got a cruiserweight who's unbeaten, Jordan Thompson, and he's about again to restart, because as you know, the lockdown affected everybody, mostly the guys who just starting off with their careers, professional careers. The more established fighters have been fighting during the lockdown, but like I said, the up and coming guys who are not as established yet been very, very touch and go, people who could get fights. So it's been very difficult time for everybody, but I'm delighted to say that my stable of fighters were at last going to make a start. And it's been very, very difficult past 18 months. I'm sure, listen, this is like nationwide, it's not just us. So there's so many boxers who have been suffering from not fighting. So looking forward to restarting.
Don, for such a kind of a young, I don't know if young stable's the right word or not, but kind of an inexperienced pro stable, shall we say, for guys who are just starting out, making their way in the sport. How have you found trying to keep them more motivated throughout the pandemic?
Well, very difficult because, you know, as well as we do boxing, because we love to do boxing, it's also a profession. It's their chosen profession, which they're prize fighters. They fight for money. That's how they make their money. But unfortunately, through the pandemic, like everybody in the country, they've had to obviously try and seek other means of to earn a living, to put food on the table. In some cases, that some of them got young families, got mouths to feed, and it's been very testing time. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of casualties nationwide of boxers who would have had to maybe retire prematurely because, like I said, you've got to put food on the table first and foremost, and pay for where you live in most cases. So we're not exception from this problem, from the pandemic, from all sectors, from all different industries. But obviously we're in the boxing industry, so I couldn't isolate it to us. Yeah, obviously some of my guys, yeah, they've had to seek other type of jobs to make ends meet. Prior to, like I said, we're about to embark on start to fight again. So the future's looking brighter than it was.
I do think it's right in what you say. You know, some fighters may well have had to look towards retirement. One of those actually being Stephen Smith. I spoke to him a few days ago. He announced his retirement, but he said if it wasn't for COVID, he'd just started to come back from his previous injuries, and COVID hits, and he's had to make his decision up. It's basically derailed what was left of his career.
Yeah.
Just to kind of link back on to your son, what's going to be the plan with him moving forwards? You know, I know he's had some brilliant experience with Tyson Fury, with Dillian White in the past. So what is the plan with George?
Yeah, George, you know, it's been a very frustrating period for him because he's been a professional for 2 years now, and he's only had 3 professional fights. He's unbeaten, and that's not very good in the sense that the amount of fights that he's had. But obviously, everything everything is blamed on the pandemic. You know, that the whole world have been suffering. So obviously, timing for everybody, it's just been a bad timing for everybody. Right, coming up to the future looks well because I can't say yet. I'm not at liberty to say it yet. He has signed a promotional deal with a great outfit who are going to get behind him. And because of his age, he's young and he's not young. You know, heavyweights mature later, so he's got a chance. And the new outfit he's with, they're going to fast track him because as much as he hasn't had as many fights as he should have had for somebody who's been a pro for 2.5 years, he's experienced in the sense that he's been busy in the gyms, learning, getting better, improving. So once he gets the opportunity to get out there and fight, provided he stays injury-free, fingers crossed, he will be fighting on a very regular basis and hopefully to playing catch-up, really, to try and get him to within 12 to 18 months to where he should have been already. So God willing, all goes to plan. No more setbacks with the lockdowns of any type for the country. And then we can get on with his chosen profession. The same goes to my cruiserweight, Jordan Thompson. Again, he's a 10-0. He's the most advanced boxer that in my stable because he's 10-0, unbeaten with 9 knockouts. You know, I've always said, not because he's my fighter, he's a world champion in the weighting. And he needs to get a move on. I believe he's also in the process or have already sorted out his plans promotionally and managerial issues he had to then move forward to go and achieve what he should be, where he should be. Again, he's a little bit behind. And for somebody who's also had that many fights and that type of record, impressive record, he too has to be in some ways fast-tracked as well. You know, then I've got my other heavyweight, Harry Armstrong. He's only had 1 professional fight. He had his fight, he got his license, professional license. He had his fight just before, 2 weeks before the first lockdown. So he was so fortunate to make a start. So at least he's had 1 fight under his belt. Yeah, otherwise he'll still be waiting to make his debut, you know? So, yeah, there's a few other guys I'm training. Dennis Balaji is an Albanian. He's an exceptional talent coming through. And Oliver Duffy is a welterweight. Like I said, these guys haven't actually made their pro debuts yet, but hopefully, provided everything keeps going the way it is, where there's no more lockdowns, please God, then all these young guys I've got bringing through, it takes a couple of years for them to surface, to be known to the general boxing public.
Don, just to move forward, a few other boxing topics, just want to get your thoughts on. One thing we haven't had a chance to catch up over is the split between yourself and Floyd Marku. Can you just kind of detail to me why you guys parted ways?
I'm still as baffled as anybody. Like I said, you know, there wasn't really any, as far as I was concerned, I had no problems with him as a fighter. He's an exceptional fighter and one that excites me. Floyd Marku excites me when he's in the ring. He's an exciting fighter. He's a very explosive fighter. And I was really looking forward to the future with him. And, you know, this is the industry we're in. I'm not exception. It happens all the time where fighters just, for whatever reason, we didn't have a fallout, nothing like that. He just decided he's moving on. And I can't really elaborate anymore because there isn't any more to say, except for he came to see me and said he's gonna go and train for the fight that he just had with, what's the chap's name? Oh God, he's gone. He'll come back. Charlton, isn't it? Yeah. And in fact, I chose that fight. When I say I chose it, Sam Jones put that name forward to us. Not even for this time. It was probably 3 months, 4 months prior to Florin eventually fighting Charlton. And I always fancied that fight, and because I know stylistically it will suit us. A guy who comes forward at Florin's an exceptional counter puncher. Good boxing IQ. I knew he was all wrong for Charlton, so I chose the fight. And coincidentally, we had that horrible fight with that tough fella, Jenny Stewart. And yeah, I mean, you know, what makes me laugh about boxing, right? In some cases, right, you got to credit the opponent, yeah, and not, you know, the guy came. That was that guy's World Cup final. Yeah, it's almost like, I'll give you a comparison with their football. It's like Scotland played England last week. They played out of their skin, right? And held England to a 0-0 draw. Now, if Scotland played like that every game, they'll be like top 6 in the world. But unfortunately, some people only raise their game for certain fights, right? So that Jamie Stewart, would ever put that sort of performance together again? Probably not. Yeah, but also you got to credit that Jamie Stewart, because it was a very, very tough, durable guy. Yeah, we couldn't have done any more to him. We dropped him. Florin dropped him in the second round. Yeah, in my opinion, not because he's my fighter. I will sit down with any so-called boxing expert and sit down round by round, and I'm struggling to give Jamie Stewart a round. Yeah, from the 6 rounds they fought, and in worst case, let's say let's draw a couple of rounds. Let's give a couple of rounds of the 6 a draw. Yeah, so I'm struggling to give the guy a clean out and out round, to the degree where the referee gave it a draw. Yeah, and it still baffles him. I'm still scratching my head. It makes me question myself. Am I seeing the same thing that the audience are watching, or you're just gonna give the guy, award him a victory? In that case, it was a victory for Jamie Stewart because of his bravery. Come on, you know, we're living in the days, like I said, everything is recorded now, everything is televised in color. You can't really get it wrong by that margin. And nobody, let's say, for instance, I paid for all the work I've put into Florin prior. I paid with my job, in the sense I lost my job. Let's not mix it up. Yeah, I got sacked. Yeah, so I lost my job over a bad, terrible decision that went against us. That's not fair. That referee still got his job. Yeah, and he never even got pulled in for questioning. How did you arrive at that result? That's what really it hurts, because it isn't right. What other job can you go and do where you get it wrong by a wide margin and nobody pulls you in, and somebody else has lost their job? Because I lost my job. Yeah, from all the work that I've put into that particular boxer is dismissed because we got awarded. It was a tough fight. We were in a very, very tough fight, a learning fight, because you can't knock everybody out. Yeah, that's what the fighters should learn from that. Some people don't want to be knocked out. They've come there to survive. Yeah, so you have to credit the opponent, number one. Number two, like I said, I will challenge any expert who understands boxing, sit down with myself. Let's watch that fight round by round, punch by punch, and I'll say to you where the man didn't even come around to sharing a round, never been awarded a round. Yeah, to the degree it was deemed a draw. No, I really refuse to accept it. But we've moved on. He's moved on. He got his victory, a well-deserved victory against Charlton, who's again a very tough guy, but Florin was conclusive, stopped him. And like I said, he's one to watch out for, whether he's with me or not with me. He's an exceptional fighter, and I wish him nothing, regardless of what happened between me and him. Maybe one day he'll come and say to me, this is what happened and stuff. Yeah. And but I wish the guy, I've got bigger plans. I've got plans, man. Everybody's got plans. I've got big plans. I've always had big plans, and I've done very well for myself in boxing. In the space of time I've been in it, I've achieved a lot. I don't get anything. I'm not moaning here. I'm very happy. I don't get nothing given to me. I have to earn everything hard way. I'm willing to do it, and I'm still going to do it. So I'm here to stay. To all those people who want to derail me or to spoil my name that I've built in boxing, yeah, it's not going to happen. Yeah, I'm going to stay here, whether you like it or not.
Don, when kind of Florian came to see you, what were the reasons behind? What did he tell you? Why did he tell you that he wanted to leave? Did he give you any specific insight as to why he decided to do so?
I'm not at liberty to say. It wasn't anything really where, oh, I'm not happy with the way you're training me, or you're not good enough. Nothing like that. Yeah, I'm not at liberty. If I knew, I'm quite. I can talk. Yeah. Okay, I'm quite open. I don't hold nothing. If he told me any reason, I will say to you, right? I can't elaborate. I normally am able to elaborate on subjects. Yeah, I can't elaborate on that particular stuff because I don't know the answer. If he gave me any reasons, I will tell you. You're asking me a straight question, I'll tell you straight answer. I'm like that. Like I said, there is no reason. Okay, we had a bad result. Yeah, because he did ask me, what did I think of that fight? I said, what is there to think? We won the fight and we got robbed. What else is there to think? He did ask me that question. Have you watched that fight? I said, I've watched it over a dozen times. When we lose, I watch it a dozen times. When we also win, I watch it a dozen times. Yeah, because you that's what you do as a coach. I watched it, yeah, and numerous times, and I still come to the same. Listen to the commentary from the American commentary. Listen to the people. I haven't met anybody, yeah, unless you're a Florian hater or a hater of myself, would you then start debating that we didn't win the fight? You have ulterior motives. I can't help you, yeah. And our industry is full of people, losers who get their happiness from seeing other people fail. Yeah, but in this instance, we didn't fail, okay? So these people will always be there. That's what drives all of us. The more they hate, the more they look at things from a totally different biased eye, opinions, yeah? And then the more we're gonna succeed. So keep on hating haters. At least every morning I wake up, I look forward to waking up. You know why? Because I love what I do. I love my job. Yeah, we do get paid for it. Even if there's no money in it, I'll still do it. Yeah, the boxing coach, because I genuinely love doing it. Yeah, and it gives me a purpose. I'm 60 years old in December. I'm very, very energetic, very active. My brain is very active. You know why? Because of boxing. When I go to bed, I have a purpose. I have all the fighters that are trained in my head, and I have plans for them for the next day. Do you know how wonderful that is? Because it gives your brain is working, it keeps it active, it keeps you. People say to me, how come you're so like young looking? And because that's why. It's not a secret. That is what keeps my brain working. The brain is a powerful machine. Yeah, because if it keeps working, you have a purpose. You have a purpose. Yeah, I have every day I go to bed, I have a purpose to wake up, because I have other people who depend on me. It's like being a parent, isn't it?
Don, just to move forward, and get your thoughts on a few other things. Obviously, again, just since we last spoke, your old charge, Derek Chisora fought and he lost to Joseph Parker.
Well, sorry to interrupt you, he won the fight again. That's a terrible result.
Something I just want to get your thoughts on. What did you make of the fight?
What I made of the fight is that Derek's physicality will affect a lot of these guys who are like Usyk, for instance. It affected them badly. Parker, again, affected him because Derek is very physical, you know? He's very, very, very physical. To handle Derek is a very, very difficult thing to do. Yeah. He's not the most technical, Derek. It's not very pleasing to the eye in terms stylistically, but he's very effective because, you know, he fights. He fights. Again, he won the fight. And on a split, you got to give it to Derek. There's various reasons, not because you want to give him a gift. Yeah, he drops the guy was it in the first round? He dropped Joseph Parker.
7 seconds or something.
Okay, right. And all throughout the fight, yes, Joseph came back and picked up some rounds, not to the degree that he won it. Derek won the fight. Everybody that I've spoken to knows and says that Derek won the fight. Joseph Parker said himself, if the win was awarded to Derek, he wouldn't have cried about it. You know, he was surprised, I think, to get the victory. Derek won the fight.
Don, moving forwards once again, just again, you know, since we last spoke, you know, there was a lot of talk, a lot of hype about a potential undisputed bout between AJ and Fury. All of that just kind of fell apart, and instead we'll see a Wilder Fury trilogy and what seems most likely AJ versus Usyk. Just your thoughts on how everything unfolded, and of course a Fury Wilder trilogy. Do you expect anything different this time around?
Well, it's like I said, as much as you're a pundit, reporter on boxing, I'm a trainer coaching boxing, but what do we all have in common? We're all boxing fans as well, right? Yeah, so as a fan, terribly disappointed. Of course, everybody, including myself, was waiting for that fight, you know, biggest fight in history. And the first two British guys, has it ever happened? I don't think so, in the history of the boxing, to unify the whole belts, you know, of the heavyweight. I mean, how this was allowed to collapse, yeah, I'm still angry about it. I'm not even directly involved, but as a fan, I'm sure every fan feels the same. You know, we were robbed of something. You know, the weirdest thing is that, in a way, this fight might never materialize ever again. Do you know that? The Fury and AJ fight, because they could both slip up, yeah, against the oppositions they're fighting. Yeah, I'm hoping not. I hope not. But they could easily, because, you know, will they be up for it? You know, after such a high of preparing, yeah? So I train fighters, I know fighters' mentalities, because, you know, you need that fight that gets your juices flowing, you know? You know, the most difficult fight for them to both to have, for AJ, is now got to reprogram his brain, his mind, everything to, well, a lesser fight. Sometimes could be more dangerous because of your focus. Is your focus there? Yeah. The same goes to Fury. Fury had already absolutely obliterated Deontay Wilder in the second fight. It was conclusive. So normally, when you have rematches, normally is where the other chap put up a good fight. It was close, but he lost. Then it warrants like a rematch or next. Yeah. This fight was conclusive. So what else can Fury do to this guy apart from get out there in round one and put one on him and put him away? Yeah. Okay. Again, will he be up for it? Yeah. And his mental, yeah, he's actually got more to lose, Fury. It's a very tricky fight for Fury to go into, because obviously Wilder's been talking good talks since then. He's been saying all kind of stuff. He's got a new trainer. Again, it's all about, is Fury up for it? You know, is he up for it? Because, Wilder will be more up for it than Fury. Because Wilder's got a lot to prove, you know, he's trying to redeem himself. He's trying to justify whatever to say, you know, I'm the rightful champion. So very, very interesting, you know. So that's why provided both parties, AJ does business against Usyk, which I believe he will, and Fury does the business against Wilder, again, I believe he will, but they're all potentially banana skins. So God forbid if that were to happen, where they both slip up, then the likeliness of this unification happening, you know, then other people will get into the equation. Or there's so many heavyweights waiting around, like Dylan White, you know, people like that waiting around to get a crack at the world title. And they're all in position. In some cases, they're all mandatories, all waiting. So anyone slips up, boom, somebody else is in. So that's why I hope the boxing world public don't get robbed of the opportunity of this ever happening, AJ Fury, you know?
Just another fight I want to get your thoughts on. Joyce, Carlos Takam. Again, what do you make of that one, Don?
Well, I've studied Takam, as you know, as Derek Chisora fought him. So I know a lot about the guy stylistically. Right, that's a very difficult fight for Joe. I mean, Joyce, he's been, you know, quite, I know he's got so much experience, you know, amateur experience. And as a professional, he's like, you know, he's again, he's in quite fast tracked as a pro. You know, he made his debut against somebody that I train, a guy called Ian Lewis in the heavyweight. And when they first made the match, I didn't believe it. Yeah, David Hay and Sam Jones, I thought these guys are drinking alcohol, you know. Do you know what I mean? To actually give Ian Lewis was a renowned puncher as Joe Joyce's debut. I even said to Ian, do you know, I think it's an insult that the fact, out of all the names they could come up with, they've chosen you to make a debut. How do you feel about that? Yeah, I said, for me, that will piss me off, where I'm gonna, because Ian is ask anybody in the boxing world, yeah, Ian Lewison, one thing he can do very well is he can punch, yeah? And to do your debut against a guy who's a renowned knockout artist is remarkable. And you know what? I'll eat my hat, and I wear hats all the time. I really didn't believe they can pull it off. And not only did they pull it off in the style Joe did it, yeah. So I became a Joe Joyce fan from that day onwards, yeah. Joe doesn't look pretty to the eye, no, he doesn't. But the guy, oh my God, I've seen it firsthand in sparring. I've seen him closer. He's a wrecking machine, right? He's like a bulldozer. He's a wrecking machine, yeah. And he happens to be able to be a guy. You can hit Joe, no problem. He'll soak it up. But are you gonna take what he can give you? The answer is no. So for that reason, like I said, it doesn't look the prettiest to the eye, but it's the modern day George Foreman. If you watch George Foreman, how George Foreman used to literally wipe, with the exception of Muhammad Ali, who used the boxing intelligence to rope-a-dope him. He just like wipes everybody. The same, Joe stylistically is that reminiscent of George Foreman, you know. And so against Carlos Takam, a very tricky fight for Joe. Takam is very well traveled. He's fought AJ, gave him a torrid time. He's fought Provoking. He was doing very well against Provoking before he got knocked out. He's fought Joseph Park, and I actually believe, I watched that fight, I would have, draw is probably the worst result, but they awarded it to Joseph Parker because I believe it was in New Zealand. Again, he got robbed in that fight, in my opinion. I thought he won the fight, Takam, that is. Then he came up against us, Derek Chisora. Everybody thought we were going to lose. I knew, obviously, we have to get the right game plan to be able to withstand the onslaught initially. He came at us, he came at the blocks really fast, like we knew he would. And we took our licks, and then when we gave him our own licks, we took him out. But he's a very difficult customer, well-traveled, and very experienced, and Joe's going to have to be at his best. I believe Joe will beat him. I believe we'll get a late stoppage over Takam.
Just one thing I haven't asked you about is obviously Derek's linked up with Buddy McGirt. What do you make of that as a move for him?
Brilliant. I've always said all along, when Derek left myself and went with David Hay, and then I've always insisted, okay, I'm not involved anymore, but at least I was waiting for them to get him a coach, a boxing coach, and to my surprise, he never got. They never replaced me with a coach. Yeah. No matter how experienced you are, you still need a coach. Even Floyd Marku still has a coach. Yeah. Even top tennis players still have a coach. Even top footballers still have a coach. Yeah. The right coach. So if you get rid of Don's no good, but at least get someone who's better than Don, or someone who's equivalent to myself. They didn't do any such thing. And then when I heard that Derek got bottom, brilliant move. And I hope he's still working with him for his next. I don't know when his next fight is because I haven't spoken to him. I hope he has a coach who, because again, it breaks my heart every time I talk about Derek, because like I said, we achieved a lot together, and I still owe him. I keep saying that, it's almost like I'm repeating myself. I don't mind, because it's the truth, you know. I owe that young man, everything that I gained from boxing, both financially and the name that I've gotten from training him. You know, he's my firstborn, and in boxing. And yeah, so I will always wish him the best, and do the right thing, Derek, wherever you are. If you're listening, do the right thing. Get yourself a coach, and yeah, everybody needs to be coached.
Don, just final thought, I want to get your thoughts on it. Came out of the blue when it was announced. Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence Jr. Is this a step too far for Manny, or is he going to just roll back for years yet again?
Well, you could never write anyone like Manny Pacquiao out again with the experience he has, but it seems like he's been around for centuries, you know. I'm afraid Father Time will be calling when he meets someone like Spence, you know. It's sad to see people, you know, people like Manny Pacquiao, what else is it that he wants to achieve, right? Why should it have to take a loss from such today's campaigner in the name of Errol Spence to then realize that I need to retire? Why don't it? Is it money? I doubt it. What is it? They should, someone who loves them to say, don't do this, you know, just leave it alone. So I'm disappointed that he's actually having this fight, but in my opinion, but this is boxing. Manny is exceptional at what he does. He lives well, he keeps himself well. So, you know, but I really can't say it. I see it unless Errol Spence win, and I see a stoppage as well. Right,
Don, we will leave it there now. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day. I hope it's sunnier down south than what it is up here in Birmingham.
Well, as we speak, the sun's only just actually come out, so that's very good, yeah.
It's heard my calls, Don. Yeah, listen, I'll keep in touch with you. I hope you stay safe. And
yeah, don't leave it for another 6 months, you know.
Okay, you, Don. Listen, look after yourself, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
Take care, Andy. God bless.